Welcome to Serving Locally with me, your host, Michelle Dinas, the podcast where we spotlight service in the Longmont and surrounding communities. All right, let's connect. Hi, welcome to Serving Locally with me. Today we are here with Sergeant Lindsay Bond and Staff Sergeant Bree from the Marines, and I'm real excited about this episode. Hopefully more to come. We'll just start out with Sergeant Bond. Who are you, and just what do you do, and just a quick little overview.
So, I'm Sergeant Lindsay Bond. I've been in the Marine Corps for close to 7 years now. Most of it spent with aviation mechanics. So I work on all kinds of platforms, F-18s, C-130s, the new F-35s, all the fancy stuff. So I came on recruiting back in April, so it's a little bit newer for me. But the goal essentially is to just kind of, help young adults kind of find a way of life, find a purpose, find the things that work better for them and fit their goals in their future.
Awesome. Staff Sergeant?
Yeah, hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Bree. Little bit of background about me. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm motor T, so what that means is motor transportation, so fixing trucks, all sizes of engines pretty much is what I do. I love what I do. I joined with intentions to do 4 years. It's been a decade now and planning on doing 10 more.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a great career. I've been to over 20 different countries and, just loving every minute of it.
Give us just a little bit of background about your organization.
So the Marine Corps started just about 250 years ago, 1775. Started with realistically just a bunch of 20 to 30-year-old people in a bar. They were like, we want to be the top dogs. We want to be the cool ones. We want to be the ones that everyone can depend on. Go do everything that everyone else is trying to do or can't do, and kind of just save the day. So about 20 years after that, the government kind of decided to make it an official branch of the military. So they kind of turned it around a little bit. It got a little bit more official, a little more, structured, I would say. And then, we went into the era of the Marine Corps was more of a punishment. People get in trouble and then it's jail or the Marine Corps. And then, thank God, over time goes, we've kind of turned it around a lot. The Marine Corps has grown a lot from that. Now, the Marine Corps itself is the hardest to get into, the highest standards, the highest expectations, the biggest legacy, and has the most jobs out of most of every other branch in the government. So here, being recruiting, it's came a long way as well. Now, instead of just kind of throwing people in, or instead of just, hey, here's the information, let me know if you're interested, we get a lot more involved community-wise. So we get involved with the high schools, the VFW. We actually have a program now that we actually mentor the people that are going in. So if they are interested and they want to go through, they have a recruiter that mentors them. We go PT with them, help them with standards, study Marine Corps knowledge with them, stuff like that to just kind of prepare them for what they're going to face in recruit training. So it's came a long way. It's definitely a bigger program now, and I would say more successful as well.
Anything you'd like to add, sir?
Yeah, no, I always like to say July 4th, 1776, Declaration of Independence. We've been around since 1775.
Absolutely.
So it's something to be proud of. And we boast about it too. We're very prideful wearing this uniform, and we're the smallest branch. So it's another of those things that we hold ourselves to a higher standard. And yeah, we're the most boastful. You talk to any other service member and they're like, oh, Marines that, and there's always that competitiveness within the branches. But I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's all love and respect towards another, but it's also a way for us to have fun and build that camaraderie, that cohesion that the military is known for.
Well, it makes you guys, better.
Exactly.
Makes you want to do better, and that's good in a good way instead of better in a whatever. I'll say.
She's gonna cut that out.
Yeah. But no, you're sharpening each other. Iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
So you guys are sharpening each other within your competitiveness within the branches.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
That was much better. What is your focus with the Marines?
Focus for the Marines. So being on recruiting duty is going to be information. For us, we like to just kind of put it out there. There's a lot of misconception or simply people that just don't know because they've never really been involved with it. Of course, every military branch is different. So we like to kind of put out there what that difference is. We like to put out there what we're about, all the opportunities, all the various jobs, whether it be trade jobs, education, just simply because they don't know anything else or don't have anything better to do at the time and they kind of want to turn their life around. We like to throw the information out there so that people know what's there versus just kind of assuming, you hear Marine Corps and you're like, no, I'm good. Like people, all they think about and all they see is the history of all the bad times that came in. And it's because it was publicized that we kind of just came in and saved the day. So a lot of people naturally go to that mentality, to a combat mentality.
Conflict and
yes,
whatnot.
exactly. They just kind of relate it to those bad moments. So we like to get out there, kind of go with the high schools, go with the community events like the Unity in the Community one that we went to, and just kind of put the word out there like, hey, that's not what it's about, There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of various options, just a lot of people come in just to go to school. A lot of people come in, learn a trade, and get out, and then they're better off for it from the skills that they learned. They progress faster than the people that, took other routes or anything like that. A lot of it being on recruiting, like I said previously, is the mentor aspect as well. So when people do have that interest, we're able to kind of guide them in the right direction before they leave. We're able to kind of tell them what to expect, give them the reality because we all have the experience in it. Out of the 5 people in the office with us, we all have a different experience. We all took different routes because there's so many ways to go about the military that we can kind of speak on it in a personal aspect and let them know what they're going to get into before they do it. After that, it's just guiding them through the process and being like, hey, we're not going to throw them to the wolves, send them out to MCRD with the drill instructors knowing nothing. So we like to show them a little bit of it, do events. We took them paintballing at one point, do some hikes, stuff like that, kind of make sure that they're ready to go, or at least as close as we can get it with the time that we have so that they're not really just thrown to the wolves to get yelled at by drill instructors.
Does that help with turnover or people leaving then to have a mentor before they go in? Has that been studied at all?
Absolutely. So, there's mentors that kind of like give you the requirement, right? And then they're like, hey, if you make it, you make it. I have noticed being here, it's a camaraderie thing. We're all pretty close to the ones that we put in, to the individuals that want to do this. We kind of mentor them, we pull them in, we help them out with just life advice. Some of them don't have that figure. Some of them do, or it's just like a rocky thing. So sometimes it's a little bit more than just kind of like, here's what you need to get in the Marine Corps. So it is nice to be able to do it because it does kind of transition them a little bit better. That way they do know what's coming, or they at least see a personal side of us and they know that they're going to get to have that. They're going to get to have the experiences that we talk about. They're going to get to experience things outside of just going to work every day. So it's a good transition for them. That way they're not just blindsided by everything, or they, go in and then didn't know what to expect when they did, or it turns out to not be what they want because we can explain that to them. So.
Right. Make sure they get into what they want instead of what they think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that perception, like you said. Awesome. Do you have anything?
No, she did it, pretty good. Also, another thing too that we like to talk about is just returning those, young men and women that came into the Marine Corps, putting them back into society much better. Like that whole, best version of themselves. You know what I mean? Like some of them come out and they're first responders, they're firefighters. I know Marines that get out, they were in infantry or a combat related job. They get out and now they're, doctors or in the medical field, right? So it's a lot that goes into it, but it's a good investment for yourself and for your future. So that's one of the biggest focuses for the Marine Corps, is returning those young men and women back to society, back to where they're from, where they want to go, and be better and give back to the community. So that's one of the focuses as well that the Marine Corps likes to focus on.
Awesome. So who are you trying to reach with the Marines?
Realistically, everybody. So we do have restrictions, of course. Most of the people that are going to go in are going to be fresh out of high school, or they're going to be somewhere close to it, young to mid-20s. But it is everyone. When it comes to young adults, it's to give them, like I said prior, the information. It's like, hey, here's all the opportunities for you. If you want to just use the education benefits, get your degree while you're getting experience for 4 years and get out, go for it. If that gets you to your future goal faster and you are eligible, use the system. We like to kind of give them the opportunity to see the different things. We'll sit down, especially Staff Sergeant Bree being the boss. he'll sit down with them and explain every job that's available to them, explain what it is, explain what it's going to give them, explain the different routes they can use it, how it transitions out, stuff like that, so that we give them the information that will get them to that goal. And that's the biggest focus with them, just because they're the ones that are starting a future. They're the ones that are coming out of high school and they're either just don't know what's out there. They only know a little bit of what's out there, or they're simply just scared and don't really have a full goal. And even when they do, sometimes they just need that little boost to help get them there. As far as, the community, we like to hit that too, mainly because the community, we thrive off of the support. Absolutely. That is a lot of what makes it worth it, is going out and just kind of seeing the impact we're able to have. Kind of seeing like what involvement we can get into, give back a little bit, like you said. It doesn't just stop at, people transitioning out and having the experience of the Marine Corps and being better for it. It also goes with the things that we can do, getting involved with the VFW, getting involved with different organizations, to kind of just show what the Marine Corps is about, show that the military isn't always related to bad things, or just the impressions. Family members, it's the same thing, which goes with the community. We like to kind of reach out and do that too, only because, my mom, I joined when I was 17. And when I said I wanted to sit down with the Marine Corps, she was like, absolutely not. Like, she was like, it's not happening. And I was like, I begged her for like a month before she ever sat down with them. And then she did. And she was like, okay, maybe. And then she was like, well, let me think about it. So the families is a big thing too. Going through training, any military training, it's an awakening for a lot of teenagers. They don't know what's coming. They don't know what to expect. And then they go to a whole new place, whole new thing, whole new people. So
yeah, it's always what they see like on social media, movies. And that's what the parents think too. You know
Right,
what I
they're
mean?
just, I'm sending them off to die.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what, my son, he's, heavy into this stuff, and military, wants to be in the military. And he's like, well, what do you think, Mom? And I'm like, for you, it'd be amazing. I'm like, selfishly for me, it's going to be horrible.
Just
so
nerve-wracking.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, that's a lot of it. They need the support too. Like
Exactly.
we thrive off of the community and families. Our families, it's just as hard as on them as it is on us. So the support, they're going to need that. So it's good to have every bit of support system, influencers, teachers, parents, everybody understand what it's about, understand why they're doing this, what they're going to get to do in this, the opportunities that are there. It's definitely nice to have the support system. It's pretty much what we live and breathe with.
Yeah.
So
No, also getting informed too, like understanding the pros, understanding the cons, right? So that's the biggest thing when it comes to at least to the Marine Corps, like making sure they understand the ins and the outs of it. Whoever we're trying to reach out to or talk to us or whatever, is making sure that there's a complete, understanding, being truthful and telling them, because recruiters get a bad rap. You know what I mean?
It's a trap.
Yeah.
a lot of people, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of recruiters are like that. I will say one of the biggest things that we do here is just kind of like, you told me it was going to be hard. Yeah, I did. Like,
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we're not
good,
going to sugarcoat it.
we like
100%.
to tell them, like,
Make
hey,
it
this
black and
might
white,
not
yeah.
be for you.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it is the legacy. We are going back to the Marine Corps, and the people we put in, the individuals that go in that are under us are going to be the legacy of the Marine Corps. So there's no point in giving them the chance 10 years from now being like, my recruiter lied to me. Like, there's no point.
That doesn't help, does it?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it creates like a distaste for that organization, right? So, well, I also tell them too, like, go talk to the other services, like,
Absolutely.
go see, right? Because for a big, like, the majority of the part, when they're trying to find that right branch, a lot of the times it's like with the personality of that individual, right? If you want to be challenged, you want to get pushed, you want to be uncomfortable, you know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you that the other services are not going to give you that, but for us...
What degree of that can you handle?
Exactly.
Really?
And that's where the whole mentoring thing comes into play. Like, we're going to sit down with you, we're gonna be hard on you, but we're going to make you understand that it's for a purpose, right? It's not just for, we're being some type of way towards them. Like, no, it's for you to actually know what you're getting yourself into.
That's fantastic. So what makes the work of the Marines different than other similar services?
Ooh, significance of the Marine Corps. In my mind, the first place it goes is the Marine Corps breeds Marines, in all reality. I know we've touched on it quite a bit where it comes to, the Marine Corps is big on you as an overall individual. So it's a lot about how good you are, how efficient you are, teaching you to be what they need you to be and do the job they need you to do. So it's heavily weighted on that side. However, the Marine Corps also heavily promotes an overall well-rounded individual. So when it comes to giving back to society, pushing those people back to society, if they do get out, if they retire, whatever the case may be, while we're in doing community events and stuff like that, just getting involved. The Marine Corps is big on the professional development as well. So the education piece, paying for college, doing trade jobs and giving you experience. I think the off one for me that I'm an aviation mechanic, but they sent me to a welding class. And I'm never going to have to weld for the Marine Corps, but they paid for the certification because I was good at my job, so it was like a benefit.
Oh, good.
So they're very big on striving to make you better, and they even go as far as you're more competitive if you are. So if we both have certifications in our job, we have the same job, we're just as competitive at work, but I have a college degree, they're going to promote me before they're going to promote the other guy because they want you to be well-rounded overall. And a lot of it does come down to the fact that, like he said, like we're trained to be the best at what we do. We are the smallest branch, but we're also the most motivated, the most dedicated, the most efficient. So it's one of those things where we do it all, and a lot of branches don't. Where we have a field in pretty much everything that you could think of military-wise, from intel, cyber, aviation, ground, the Marine Corps band, lawyers, cooks. Like we have everything. So we're the smallest branch with it all, and yet still do it the best. So it's something to thrive off of in a sense of, we have that reputation. And then, like he said, we're very proud to have it. So we're very proud to just go out and be like, I can say I'm a Marine. I can say they made me into that. A better person than I ever would have been otherwise, and have a lot of traits that I don't think I would have gotten without the Marine Corps at all.
Yeah, no. In addition to Air Force, Army, Navy, and then the Marines, right? Air Force is known for controlling the air, right? Our emblem, our Eagle Globe and Anchor, we call it EGA. We have the Eagle because we are self-sufficient with aviation, right? We don't have to depend on the Air Force to come and help us out, area-wise, right? The Globe is also for ground, ground equipment, anything ground related, like we can support ourselves. The anchors for the same thing. Navy, the sea, they control the sea, right? It's them. But we also have Marines in ships with them, stuff like that. We have our own equipment, our own gear. We can be self-sufficient, operate within our own organization and get whatever needs to be done, done. As opposed with other services, they might need to reach out to the Air Force or whatever, what have you. With us, we are self-sufficient. We're self-sufficient. Sorry.
That's awesome. I did not know that. So that's great.
Yeah, it's a big factor. I think the aviation one's the one that blew my mind. Because
I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm aviation. I'm a mechanic,
right.
But I never knew until like 6 months ago, and it was actually Sergeant Sonnerholm. One of the recruiters that works with us that told me, he was like, yeah, the Marine Corps aviation is bigger than the Air Force. I was like, there's no way. And I looked it up too, and it is. And I was like, what? And I was like, so it's one of those things where like a lot of the facts just aren't really put out there because it's, we're all on the same team. Are we competitive? Yes. But at the same time, we get the job done, and that's the intent. But the Marine Corps definitely has the reputation of getting it done more efficiently and then being the backup for everything else. So so it's definitely a standalone thing. So we're we know how to stand together and we know how to stand alone, and we're pretty efficient either way. So
that's fantastic. I didn't know any of that. That's really cool. Thank you for explaining the emblem.
Yeah, I always like to point it out because when I was looking into the services, I was 21. So when I was like, well, I like that logo. You know what I mean? I like that logo. So I started asking.
Those colors.
Yeah. I started asking, and they're like, oh, no, they're the hardest. And that kind of like intrigued me, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go ask, see what's going on. So I started asking him, like, yo, so what's up with the logo? And my recruiter that I still talk to this day, he's like, no, man, I mean, say the Eagle, the Globe, just the way I explained it right now. He's like, we're self-sufficient.
So it stuck with you.
Yeah. And I'm like, huh.
It's going to stick with me, too, because I didn't know that.
I mean, it's constantly expanding because the video, I forgot the one that had it, that I posted on Instagram a couple of days ago, that's what he was talking about. The Marine Corps didn't have as big of a special force thing at one point in time. So then we created MARSOC, and now MARSOC is the most efficient ground, special ops that there is, and they're not very publicized. I would say the most interesting side of it is you can't go into MARSOC. You have to be a Marine to even apply for MARSOC because we're trained differently. We have more aspects.
Yeah. When it comes to like special operations, we're just talking about MARSOC. That's our version of like SEALs. Green Berets and stuff like that.
You're elite.
Yeah, that's the special operations sides. But for us, for you to even try out to be one of the elite, to be one of those operators, you have to have time as a Marine. As a regular Marine, you wear the uniform, you earned it. reason behind that is because we want you to develop some leadership, get some mature, know how to lead, how she was saying, know how to follow, and all that kind of stuff. And even then, though, once you go through those courses of like, to try out, you can be the most, physically like fit guy, pass every test. But if you don't know how to work well with your team, you will not be chosen.
Character.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Absolutely.
So.
What are your greatest needs?
I feel like the greatest need on our side is exposure. Absolutely. Reaching out and people just kind of understanding what it means to join the military for any branch in all reality is something that's just not very well publicized or very well understood. Like we said before, a lot of it is a misconception. A lot of it is just simply, I don't know, because of the fear of what it could be or just stuff in the past. So a lot of the military for all branches is related to bad history. So a lot of people look at it in the sense of like, it's good history for America, but do I want my kid to be the one doing it? Or, do I want my student to be subjected to that? Or, a lot of influencers that genuinely have that best interest and don't know the amount of opportunities that are offered with the Marine Corps. A lot of it is going to be on the side of, we have education side, we have trade jobs, we have all kinds of stuff that'll push through a lot of things, and a lot of people just simply don't know about them. A lot of people just don't understand them. A lot of people just don't give it the time. So exposure is definitely the biggest one, so we can kind of put that face out there of like, hey, like, we did it too, and here we are. Or just, hey, we do it on a daily basis, and look at what all I've accomplished. So we have books in the office that have college degrees, our paths, our certificates, our certifications, all the places we've been. Staff Sergeant Bree likes to say his Instagram's fire. If you look it up.
It's pretty fire.
If you look it up, it has that, because you hear warfighting organization and it's scary. It's a scary thought for any influencer and honestly for any teenager too. So you hear that and you shy away from it naturally. So being able to explain the options before there's a decision, or just being able to provide the opportunity that otherwise wouldn't have been there simply because of things that, come naturally. It's definitely the biggest need on that side, so that people understand what's going on. People understand what all there is to it. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the biggest thing. I agree with the exposure. Just because part of recruiting too, we also like make phone calls, talk to all kinds of people, and just always hostile parents, hostile, people, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, XYZ, I'm not going to send, yada, 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 being a parent, whatever, right? But it's what she's saying, that information, that exposure to tell the community, like, hey, there's more than just, combat-related jobs. You can go into cyber, you can make something of your life and, use the government to, like, help you get there, right? It's a sacrifice, it's an investment for yourself, and
it's an investment for your future.
Exactly.
And I think that some people look at it as a sacrifice of your future, and maybe that needs to change.
Yeah.
That it's for
Absolutely.
your future and what you can do after this also, instead of just your time spent there.
It
Exactly.
definitely is. There's a lot to it, because just like Staff Sergeant Bree, my intention was to do 4 years. Well, 5 for me, because that was aviation. So my initial contract, I was just going to do 5. I was going to go to college, get a degree, get out, and that was the plan. I fell in love with it. Here I am. I just, 7 years later and going to hit 20. Here I am. But just within the first 2 years, that was the part that changed my mind. Was I can go to college and I can get all this stuff, let the military pay for it. However, just being in, I got all of the same certifications and everything else in half the time, and then still had the on-hands experience as well. So I kind of got the best of both worlds. And still to this day, I could transfer out and I could use it somewhere else, but I fell in love with the Marine Corps, so I'm not going to get out. But I think I have 5 different mechanical degrees right now. Certifications for us that are equivalent to college degrees that I never would have gotten within 2 years. There's no way, maybe 2 years for 1 out of the 5.
Right.
So it's a pretty cool thing to share the opportunities like that.
You have a guaranteed job.
Exactly. And, if you want to get out and it's not for you, you always can. But now you have the same things that someone spent longer getting, and then you also have more, and then you also have the leadership and the management skills on top of being certified in it and having hands-on experience. You're naturally better for it. You're a better person.
Oh, absolutely.
You're way more competitive if you transition out. It's a lot of opportunity that a lot of people just don't
sets that bar
see.
high for
Absolutely.
for everyone else, which is good.
Also, too, apart from the school certificates, all those tangible things. I mean, I always like to talk about kind of the intangibles that I get from that I got from the the military, the Marine Corps. For once, for starters, I met my wife in Japan. You know what I mean? She was a Marine. She's from Oregon. But no, we got
she
married.
wasn't from Japan.
No, she wasn't.
You guys just met out there because of the Marines.
Which is crazy too, though, because when I met her, we were at a Spanish bar. You know what I mean?
Okay.
She's from Oregon, blonde, like I was like, I'm gonna go ask her to dance. You know what I mean? So I asked her to dance, and she's like, no.
I can't dance to this music.
Yeah. But my buddy, he was the DJ. He was like the one, and I'm like, okay. So I told Cammy's my wife. So I told Cammy at the time, I was like, hey, if they play this certain song next, you have to dance with me. She's like, oh, are you so sure they'll play that song? And I'm like, I'll try for you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So me being me, I went to my buddy. I'm like, hey, man, you got to play the song. Help me out. You know what I mean? Fast forward, now we have a beautiful daughter. She's about to turn 4 in October. But no, I mean, you never know. Like, it's always a good thing to, like, talk about, like, human parts of the military, right? Because it's there. It's not just, rah, 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 rah.
It's not just guns and planes and tanks.
Exactly. Benefits, like, all that stuff, it's there, cool. But, like, what I got from the Marine Corps was way much more than just those things. I got a family out of it, with them, but also, like, my own, my own kin, So I like to talk about those kind of things because it's, it's human, right? It's people, it's love, it's warmth, it's all those things that when you hear military, like, oh, nah.
It's hard, it's steel.
Work.
Yeah, it's cold, hard steel. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's everything. So I like to talk about that kind of stuff, too.
I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
Do you have any events or volunteer opportunities coming up?
So being in recruiting, events and opportunities, we do a lot. We're everywhere. We do all the community festivals, at least as many as we can try to. We have the Travis Mannon 9/11 run coming up in Denver. So we'll be there. We've got a few people that are going to participate, going to run in it. We like the fitness side, so we usually have people that jump in for that. We got the Boulder Marathon. We'll probably be at that one too. My fiance is going to run it. He's active duty, so he'll be there too.
Awesome.
And then we're at the high schools at least once a week. We go to all kinds of different high schools, do a lot of anti-bullying, do a lot of just kind of class talks, what's out there, stuff like that. As far as the volunteer side of that, usually it's just pull-up competitions. We're like, hey, show us what you got. This past one they raffled off.
For me.
Yeah, this past one they raffled off.
Yeah, I saw her at the event, and I was like, but...
Yeah, this past one they raffled off $100 for gift cards of pull-up competitions. I forgot her name, but the little, she was 10 years old, a gymnast, won the female side of it.
Nice.
And we were like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, she was getting it.
Yep.
But we do training. A lot. I think September 14th is the VFW is doing a vet help thing as well. So they're going to be kind of open as long as you can show that you did military service or are currently doing military service for any branch. They're going to do food, games, haircuts, just stuff like that to kind of give them the availability to do it as well.
Awesome. So how can people contact and find out more about the Marines? I'll have them in the QR code and in all the show notes as always, but just go ahead and spout out where to find you.
So kind of everywhere, I'm not going to lie. There's a big presence when it comes to recruiters. The office for Longmont is on Main Street. It's 1716 Main Street. So we're over there. The other branches are over there as well, have offices. And then,
so it's all the same... That same like bunker looking building?
Yeah, it's kind of all in the same complex.
Oh, okay.
I think we have the Marine Corps, the Navy, and the Air Force, or Marine Corps, Navy, and Army over there. The Air Force office is down in Thornton. We have an office in Thornton and Boulder.
See, that place is not very welcoming.
It's not. We had
I drive past it and I'm like, oh, that's where I'm going if, the world ends, I guess.
Yes.
That's what I think. So is it open for people to just come in and talk to you guys?
Yes. So being in Longmont, it's kind of a smaller office. There's typically only like one person there. The main office is going to be down in Thornton, but even just going by Longmont, there's business card on the door, a phone number, stuff like that. And then we can leave business cards here for you as well if you want to put it on there. But it'll have, name, address, and then on top of that, our phone numbers on it as well. So they can always just reach out if they can't catch us. They can call the Thornton office. There's always someone in that office for the most part. So If they can't, it's easy to just contact them there, and then if they live up in Longmont, we'll go to them, make it a little bit easier as well.
Okay.
So the unwelcoming parking lot, you don't always have to be in. So we do a lot of conversations, with the schools, with the students, if they want to. If it's easier for them during class,
Right.
We try not to pull them out of class. So it's like, hey, if you're willing to do it on your lunch, we'll do that. If you want to do it after school, we'll do that. I'll meet you somewhere. Come to your house and meet your parents. Pretty much whatever works. So. It's not hard to find us. It's as simple as just looking up the business cards. They're at every office. So you can Google Marine Corps recruiting station.
And you're not just going to go yell at them.
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
Maybe. I'm just kidding.
after they're in, we might tell them to run a little faster. But
Right. No, that's good. That's good.
We're on social media platforms too. So she has her own, Instagram and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And so is there like a specific one for, is it Colorado Marines or Longmont Marines, or is it just Marines?
So we all have our individual ones for the most part.
Okay.
Mine's going to be SGT for sergeant, and then .bond.USMC. And then we also have one for the office as a whole, which I think is Task Force, right?
Task Force.
Yeah, so it's if you look up Task Force, it'll say Task Force Metro North.
Okay.
And then there's another one for the entire station that covers all of Denver and most of Colorado. That's Rocky Mountain Marines.
Rocky
so
Mountain.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways to do it. And then we all have a Facebook. Facebook's not as popular anymore, so we don't really have the professional accounts.
I felt so old, like going to high school.
yeah.
or
Me
something,
too. I'm like, I'm all over Facebook, but no, that's not where
I
Uh,
it's
hear all
at.
kinds of
Yeah, but most of the bios on Instagram also have our phone numbers,
Right.
so it's not hard. You really just have to show up to an office and take a business card, or just Google it.
Perfect. What does service mean to you?
So for me, service is kind of a big picture, right? So it's not necessarily getting into something and being like, this is what it's going to do for my future. It does give a lot to your future depending on that route. But to me, it's more or less just being a bigger version, being a better version for the impact I can make. It's all about the impact on my side of things, to be honest. I grew up in a really, really small town. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone knew everyone's business. It was nothing but drama. Like, it was a lot of stuff going on in a little place. But looking at it like that, growing up, there really wasn't too many public figures. It was such a small town in the middle of nowhere that you didn't really have that. You didn't have the goal to look up to. There wasn't too much to go future-wise unless you were already working somewhere. It's just not much going on. So the military wasn't a presence there. Nothing was really a presence there when it comes to the bigger picture, to government, to service. Anything outside of, police force or firefighters or EMTs. And even then, most people didn't know who they were just because service was not promoted very well there. So for me, it's kind of just making that impact, seeing what else you can do that isn't just necessarily your job. So I can have a day-to-day job, but I can, pull over on the side of the road when I see someone sitting there and help them push the car out of the road. Stuff like that it is looked better and less of a risk if you're a public figure. Like if, they see a uniform, they're less likely to shy away from it, and we can actually impact a little bit better because people are open to letting us help. So we can definitely jump in and help people in a broader spectrum than just national defense. So
I love that answer.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, what does service mean to me? I don't know. I hope I convey it the right way. It's just being part of something bigger than myself and being able to give back. Whether if it's, wearing this uniform or, being first responder, law enforcement, or just even helping the old lady get her groceries off the cart. You know what I mean? Just a way for her to help people. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean service for, military or community or whatever. It's just being a part of something bigger, giving back to other people, helping other people. That's like what service means to me. Like after I'm done with my, military career, I did my service for my country, and now I want to go and serve my community. So like I'm gonna get into something that will give back, like stuff like that.
absolutely.
That's fantastic.
I hope I said it right, or if
that
that made
sounds-
understand.
Perfect. I loved it. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add or talk about for a minute? Just give you some space to just something that maybe we skipped over too quickly, or you just have a passion that you just want to talk about for a couple minutes.
So my biggest thing to add is just going to be the hesitation. There's a lot out there. The military is not for everybody. The Marine Corps is not for everybody. It's a very small organization, but there's a lot of I don't know. And there's a lot of hesitation. There's a lot of fear, coming from people that are trying to start a brand new version of their life. So if there is any kind of anything in the back of your mind, right? If there's any kind of maybe it might be for me, or simply just I want to know if it's for me and I don't know anything about it. You can't believe everything on YouTube and Google. So like reach out to us, reach out to a different branch if that's the question. I would definitely say look into every branch if there's any kind of military service. We all do things a little bit differently. The Marine Corps has its side of things. Every other branch has its own. So I would definitely say if there's any hesitation, reach out. Call a recruiter. We're literally everywhere. So call a recruiter, ask some questions, find out if it is for you. That initial conversation, all it is, hey, what's your goals, what's your interests? And then providing any opportunities we can to kind of further that for them, to give them that route to take to accomplish those. So there is anything there, like that's what we're here for, to answer the questions.
Awesome. No, yeah, 100%. Also, like if for any young man or woman or any influencer, caregiver, anybody really, just help out the ones you're mentoring, or if you're looking to do something, don't take a gap year or whatever. We hear that so much, and we talk to so many people like, I'm gonna go do a year in communities college and this and that. Okay, cool, stick to it. Make sure if you are a mentor to one of those young men and women, like try to guide them in the right direction. Sometimes it helps hearing it from other people. Because there's been, a few young men and women that we talk to, and they're like, oh, I took a gap year. I'm like, bro, you're like 26 now. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, just have a plan. You know what I mean? That's like the biggest thing to any listeners out there.
You've had a gap year for 18 years.
There you go.
Let's do something now.
And it's a very common thing, unfortunately. It's a very common outlook where they're like, well, I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to join the military. And we're like, yeah, but if you go in with that mindset, like, you're not going to be as successful as you could be. Like, focus on something and go for it. If it's not the military, it's not the military. If you come in...
something might happen, too, where they might get disqualified. So, I mean...
Absolutely, yeah. Have a plan, have a backup plan, know what you want. You may not know how to get there, but as long as you have a goal, somebody can help you get there. Somebody will be able to give you the opportunity, the information, foot in the door. You just got to ask. So, it's a hard thing to do for a teenager to be like, I don't know, but... That's what we're here for, We're trained on the information. We're given the information. We know the routes that they can take. So,
yeah,
awesome.
Question for you.
Oh no,
that's
never happened before.
Oh shoot!
Oh, it is spicy.
I didn't know about this.
Yes, sir.
What does service mean to you?
What does service mean to me? Service means. Yeah, see, I haven't thought about it. Like, you guys knew what you were going to say.
I didn't give you... Oh, shoot.
We'll cut this part out.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. It's a good question. Service means, what you were saying, and I was agreeing with a lot of it, is just something outside of myself. Whether it's, like you said, helping the lady with her groceries. I homeschool my kids. So my life is... I try to base all my life on service. And... I might cut this out, but I look at Jesus and what he did, and that's what I want to emulate and show.
It's beautiful.
Is service.
Absolutely.
And so that's why faith is the end of my seat, serving with faith, because he did so much for us to serve us, and everything that we have is because of him.
Yeah.
That it's not me, it's showing him through me.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah, that's very sentimental.
And I'll cut that out because that's not going to be... that'll be a little too spicy, probably.
Gotcha.
But no, service is absolutely thinking more of others and not about myself, and just trying to make it better, make the world a better place for myself, for my neighbors, for my kids' future.
Well, you're doing it. This is step one.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. And I was going to do a follow-on question and ask you why, right? But, I mean, I love what you said right now, that is for your kids. And that's my why, too. For service, it's for my daughter, for my family later on down the road. It's for them. So, sorry, I bombshelled with that.
That was awesome. I was not prepared. But, no, that made me, that made me bring me out. So, that's... funny.
It's awesome.
Good, thanks. Is there anything else you guys would like to add before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
If there are any events or, want to ask more veterans or whatever, please feel free to reach out. We have a lot of resources. I would love to get my commanding officers down here so you can just attack them with questions. That'd be great. You know what I mean?
Pull them in Sergeant Major New Camp.
Yeah.
And let them, they're the go-tos for a lot of the information. So they're going to... definitely make an impact if they're here. That or just the ones we have, iTech, VFW, like a lot of people that, we're either in or are in other services. We know people of other branches as well that would love to do it. So
Yeah. And if there's anything we can do for you, just reach out. We'd love to help. Get us out of the office, please.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
totally. Absolutely. Yep, you guys need help with anything, I know who to call. For sure. I was going to say something else, and I totally forgot what it was now. Oh, if you guys need anything, if there's anything I can do to help you guys, I'd love to be part of that. If you want, Mrs. Longmont helps bring an eye to what you guys are doing someplace, I'll do that for you guys.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, no, thanks you guys for coming on. I appreciate it, and I look forward to what we can do in the future, and what your guys' impact for the community is.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having us.
much.
Thank you. Thank you to my guests, my listeners, and my supporters. Serving together, we can strengthen our community. Please like and subscribe. Do all those other things. You know you got to do them, because that's the easiest way that you can serve right now. All right, now go. Connect with others and be a blessing.
Question for you.
Oh no,
There you
that's
go.
never happened
Oh,
before.
oh, shoot.
Whoa. It is spicy.
I didn't know about this.
Yes, sir.
What does service mean to you?
What does service mean to me? Service means. Yeah, see, I haven't thought about it. Like, you guys knew what you were going to say.
Oh, shoot.
We'll cut this part out.
No, that's a good question. It's a good question. Service means to, what you were saying, and I was agreeing with a lot of it, is just something outside of myself. Whether it's, like you said, helping the lady with her groceries. I homeschool my kids, so my life is, I try to base all my life on service. And I might cut this out, but I look at Jesus and what he did, and that's what I want to emulate and show.
It's beautiful.
Is
Yeah.
service.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so that's why faith is the end of my seat, serving with faith, because he did so much for us to serve us, and everything that we have is because of him.
Yeah.
That it's not me, it's showing him through me.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah, that's very
love
sentimental
that.
And I'll
too.
cut that out, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not going to be
That's controversial.
that'll be a little too spicy probably. But no,
Gotcha.
service is absolutely thinking more of others and not about myself, and just trying to make it better, make the world a better place for myself, for my neighbors, for my kids' future.
Well, you're doing it. This is step one.
I love that.
Selfless.
Absolutely.
I love that. And I was gonna do a follow-on question and ask you why, right? But I mean, I love what you said right now. That is for your kids, and that's my why too. For service, it's for my daughter, for my family later on down the road. It's for them. So sorry, I like
No, that
bombshelled with that.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. I was not prepared, but no, that made me that made me bring me out. So that's funny.
It's awesome.
Good, thanks.